Hello trainers, welcome to another episode of Pokemon Go Battle. So this is part 2 from this series of reaching to legend. So today we're going to continue the video. We're going to show the set that I didn't do good with from the team prior to, which made me switch into this team that I'm showcasing today. Just only for 3 battles, but we're going to throw another video out later, hopefully next week. And it's going to be about Gallade as the, or no, not Gallade, Swampert as the lead, and then having Shadow Machamp and Gallade in the back. Now basically this was the team that got me to legend last season, just for a couple battles, kind of like how it was this season. It was kind of interesting how both things just switched around rather quickly, and quickly as far as like this team, and it just worked out just fine. So without a doubt, I'm going to jump into these battles here. We're going to again showcase the first set that gave me a 1-4 if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to have everything in my time codes here, so if you want to see the first set here that didn't do too well before we then switched into the next set, which we used this team just for the first battle, and then we lost a battle, and then we switch into this new team for 3 battles, which got me to legend. So without a doubt, we're going to jump into these battles, and I'm just going to talk it through. It's been a while actually since I've seen this battle, so we're going to see how things worked out. But for the most part, when we usually see a Shadow Dragonite, or just a Dragonite in general, usually with the Shadow I would throw a Leaf Blade in the beginning because they usually would shield, and then I will go immediately into Lapras, and then in this case they usually pull out their counters in this case, or even an Apollyon depending on how the team comp is. So in this case we have a S-Cav, and as long as you have a little bit of an energy lead, we can throw off a Sirfetch'd, which throws which allows them to use either a shield or let go of their S-Cav. So in this case here, I bring in Sirfetch'd, and we had his shields that aerial ace, knowing like that's what it's gonna be. And then we started farming, letting go of this Leaf Blade, and then we switch into our Gallade to snipe down the Dragonite, and then we're gonna see what they're gonna have in the back. So in this case, because this is an aerial ace from S-Cav, our Gallade goes down, and then they have a Snorlax. Now I think in this case what's the best situation is to actually go to a Leaf Blade, so we didn't have to debuff ourselves and lose this match. I think 2 Leaf Blades is a lot better than going with the Brave Bird, but you guys can let me know if I'm wrong in that case. So that was a close battle there without a doubt. Super close. Wasn't expecting it. Maybe if it was a Shadow Snorlax, would have been a lot different. But moving on to the next battle, Magnezone as lead. This could be a little bit tricky. Sometimes I would stay in and play it out, but in this case I switch immediately into Sirfetch'd so they don't farm down on energy, and then they bring in a Dragonite. So in this case I usually shield the first one. I would bait the first time because we have all this energy, and they usually shield. Usually, sometimes they don't, like in actually this case right here. And then in this case, no sense of going for the Brave Bird again, just start chipping away. So in this case we just let it go. And then we're gonna go into a most likely Gallade, yep, to just farm down, just so now we're ahead on energy. Still not a good situation for us because we have Lapras in the back. So in this case they have a Venusaur, which is still not good. So in this case you can't farm all the way down, you get to throw the Leaf Blade. And then we tied with CMP, which forces me to use the shields. I really wanted to switch into Lapras so I can catch that what's it called, that Frenzy Plant, but in this case we did the switch here, which most likely is just a mirror shot. And then there's not much we can do really in this case, especially them having 2 shields, because all they're gonna do, like in this case, is just charge up to a charge so much energy into the wild charges and just knock us out in there, and they just win the match. So not much we can do here. We lost CMP tie. Even if we won CMP tie, they have you know, just the wild charges ready to go. So GG's there for that match. I think we could have won that match too if we maybe would have stayed in, but in that case it was just a little tricky the way that I played it out. Plus having the opponent actually not shields that Leaf Blade was a huge thing too. So for these battles I did speed it up 2 times the speed. I didn't cut or do anything different. So just be patient if some things are a little bit longer than it should be. But moving on to this battle, Scrafty as the lead. This could be a little tricky because Lapras is not good against Scrafty, and then we didn't really want to showcase our Sirfetch'd in this point, so we build up to 2 Leaf Blades, and we let them go back to back. They don't shield the first one, and then they shield the second one. In this case, now that we're ahead on shields, we're going to jump in with our Sirfetch'd, and we shield the first Weather Ball just to maintain some of that health. And then in this case, we just go with the Leaf Blade. And Alolan Ninetales, we've seen a lot of them in Ultra Leagues, going up in the higher ranks of ELO here. And they're very tanky, they're very bulky, so we let go of this Weather Ball, and we knew we could have got to this Leaf Blade, and we just let it go. Let's see if they're going to manage the shield, and they don't, which is a pretty good sign for us. So we one switch, we're ahead on energy. They bring in Jelly, and in this case we go for the Leaf Blade. This is really the best bet that we have. And then let's see what happens here. We switch immediately into our Lapras because we didn't want to be completely farmed down. This most likely is a Shadow Ball. Yep. And then they bring in Scrafty here. And then I don't think I shield here, because if it's a foul play, it would have been a lot. And then this kind of puts me in a weird situation, because Power Up Punch is going to do a lot of damage, but we want to save that shield for this Jelly here. So what we do here is we go with the Surf just to chip away with damage, and just to see what we can do. And we go ahead and Surf once more, and then we swipe right into our Gallade to snipe, and then we win that match. GG. So I just wanted to see, because sometimes Ice Beam could be the better situation for that one hit before we knock out, but just letting go of that Surf, we can see how much damage that we actually can let go, and then that gave me the idea of just going back-to-back Surf was really the idea for this play. So moving on to this next battle. Let's see. We have a Shadow Abomasnow. So this is a very tricky situation. I think I might have explained it in the last video. Whenever there's usually a Abomasnow lead, I usually know that there's a high chance of having a Gallade in the back. So I usually go straight close combat, and if they don't shield, that usually gives me the idea that they do. But I switch right into Sirfetch'd, and what do you know, it's a Shadow Gallade. And I go Brave Bird here, and usually in this situation sometimes it's just best to go maybe double Leaf Blade, because this puts us into a tricky situation where we have to throw in our Lapras and most likely have to shield. So we just tied CMP here. We have to shield because we have to respect the close combat, and then we have to let go of this Surf. So not easy in this case. Here I believe it's an Energy Ball with all the energy that they stored up, which is true. And then we bring in our Gallade, and there's not much we can do with our Pokemon being that low of a health. I think maybe if we would have shielded, what is it called? If we would have not shielded the Gallade, we probably would have had a better situation having the shield towards the very end with the Swampert, because this is a very common team, having Abomasnow as the lead and then having Gallade and Swampert in the back. So it's a toss-up when it comes to when they shield, when they don't shield. In most cases, they usually don't shield in the beginning, and then they'll leave their shields for either their Swampert or their Gallade in the back. Usually what they'll do in this situation with my team is that they'll let go of their Abomasnow, farm so much energy with their Gallade, and then they would let go of that energy onto Lapras, and then have that winning blow with Swampert. So not a team that we can't win against, but it's a very tricky situation, and you know, they won that match. GG's there. So moving on to the next battle here, we have Swampert, which is a very tricky situation. Usually I just go straight close combat and switch. They usually don't shield, what they don't in this case, which is beautiful, because it's one Pokemon that's going to give us a lot of headache towards the very end. So we bring in our Lapras here, they bring in a Galvantula. In this case, I don't shield because this is usually a lunge, and this gives us an advantage for our shields towards the ends here. And then in this case, I think I shield because Galvantula is still kind of tricky with Gallade, and knowing that they have Skarmory as the lead. So we go Ice Beam here because we weren't going to let go another attack. And then in this case, I might bring in... Nope, I didn't bring in Sirfetch'd. I brought in Gallade, thinking I can just try to farm down. And then Lunge goes through, and we just farm it down. And then Gallade goes... Or I'm sorry. Skarmory comes back in, and then we go with Leaf Blade here. Then we get the last shields. And then in this case, because this is Skarmory, it's going to be a Sky Attack. We shield, and they had enough energy for a second Sky Attack, and most likely it's going to be maybe a Swampert in the back, but we don't see it. Nope, we don't. So GG's there for that match. Really tricky in that case, and there we go. We got a 1-4, so 29-58. So moving on to this second set. This is the set that got me to Legend. So here I am just thinking of like what team to actually use, because you know I really want to use this team, the Gallade team, just to meet to Legend, because I really wanted to do that from last season. But knowing like this was super hard in this situation, I was thinking about maybe we could ride it out once more. We can get this 4-1. It's gonna be really tricky, but we'll just see how this plays out. So I think we win the first match here using the same team, and we have another Skarmory lead. And this is a situation in my mind is knowing like, okay, we have a lot of leads that are not really good for Gallade, which is okay, but usually when it's a tough hard counter, it makes the lineup really tricky. So we go close combat here. They don't shield, and then they bring in a Shadow Machamp, which is not good. So we don't shield at all usually for Lapras. The cross chop we can survive, and then I usually go with an Ice Beam here, and they usually don't shields, and they don't here. So in this case, we both KO, and then I'm trying to figure out what to do because they have Skarmory as the lead here, and then I just go straight for the Leaf Blade, knowing that their Sky Attack is just about to happen. And they actually shield here, thinking that it was another close combat, and then they throw the Sky Attack, knock us out, and then they have a Swampert in the back. So in this situation, it's still very tricky. We definitely could survive a Hydro Cannon, but what we have to do here is make sure that we have enough energy for the Skarmory in the back again. So they do shield here. We have to shield no matter what. I'm trying to make sure that we have enough energy stored before they throw their last Hydro Cannon, and then in this case that we were thinking like one short away from them letting go a Hydro Cannon, but with the lag that's been happening in Go Battle League, I don't want to ruin that situation. So in that case, we're just one shy away from a Leaf Blade, and knowing that we can sneak in a counter before they sneak in an Air Slash, we let go of that Leaf Blade, and then we went with a counter and we won that match. So matter of just chipping away here and just winning that match. So I'm just reviewing my battles live from stream here. It looked like I just walked away before probably getting some water before coming back into the battle. But yeah, I really wanted this team to reach Legend. I think it's still a possibility, but I was just so anxious of just hitting Legend because I'm that close. I'm so close of hitting Legend. So moving on to this next battle, Snorlax as the lead. This is actually very tricky for this team, and what I'm coming to realize is that I just have to stay in this match because usually they have a Clefable in the back or a Charmer in the back. In this case, they bring in Galvantula, which in this situation, because we're so far in energy, we can just start chipping away with Leaf Blades, and I'm most likely going to shield here if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because we have this much energy, and we want to win switch so we can line up our Pokemon just right. And then in this case, we're going to let go another Leaf Blade. I highly doubt they shields. What? Yep, and they just let it go. And then in this case, they bring back the Snorlax, and I immediately switch into Sirfetch'd because I didn't want them to sneak away with so much energy. And there we go. There's the Clefable. The switch timer came up, and I think this is what maybe lose the match, is immediately switching into Sirfetch'd, because I was thinking that I can get a little bit more time with Snorlax, but they had that energy for what is it called, for the Body Slam. So in this case, a Meteor Mash goes through, and all we're trying to do is just farm up as much energy as we can, try to sneak in that extra Ice Shard if we could with that Meteor Mash, and then we go to the Surf here. And let's see what happens. They actually shield, and I try to switch into Gallade just to try to soak up that charge Meteor Mash here, and we just missed it, and that was a GG's there for that match. So that mistake there, maybe switching to Sirfetch'd wasn't the idea, but it is what it is. And here we go, moving on to the team that got me to Legend, which was Swampert as the lead here. I was trying to remember what I did from last season, if I did Machamp as the lead or Swampert, but I think it was maybe a Machamp. But in this case, knowing that we're both weak to Charm or Flying in the back, At least with the two Pokemon. I ended up going with Swampert in the lead, so it was an ABB lineup instead of having like a BBA type of lineup. So still thinking here, thinking, and the idea in this situation was having Swampert as the lead, so just in case if we switch in the Machamp or Gallade in the back, if a Charmer pops up, Swampert can come back in and actually answer with that lineup. In this case, it's still kind of questionable if you want Earthquake or Sludge Wave in this matchup for this team comp. I usually just go with Earthquake here because there's some situations having like the Kingdra or other Pokemon where Earthquake really matters. So in this case with this team, this battle in particular, they had Talonflame in the lead. They switch immediately into Kingdra and I switch into my Champ. Usually the debuff is what kills us in this matchup, but we can still win this match just simply chipping away and just letting go of that Pokemon. So in this situation, they have Swampert coming in. We go with Cross Chop here. The debuff doesn't help quite a bit. Even the lag doesn't help us in this situation as well too. And then we bring in our Gallade. They are ahead in energy, which is not good, but we can soak up a Hydro Cannon. In this case, they switch into Talonflame, which gives us the winning opportunity to go into Swampert and then just spam out these Hydro Cannons, because this Talonflame is just not going to appreciate it. And now we're ahead on energy just a little bit, and we have a shield. And just to be safe because of this lag, we just let go of that Hydro Cannon, and then we're going to let go of this Hydro Cannon as well too. So their energy dry. We're safe to say that we can throw this Leaf Blade without any hesitations whatsoever, and we win that match. GG's there. So I think as far as now I'm remembering, that night as well too, we didn't have a lot of good optimal internet, or the servers are acting up. I don't know. There was just quite a bit of those laggy situations, and I just want to be sure that we can play it out where we can win that situation, and some of the other battles as well too. So moving on to the next battle here, we have a Galvantula as the lead. So this is actually pretty good for Swampert. We're just going to charge up and let go of this Hydro Cannon before they get to this lunge. This really forces them to shield, and in this case we can survive a lunge, so we just let it go. And then we go to another Hydro Cannon here to see if they're going to shield again or they let it go, which usually they don't, because after that first lunge, it's pretty good for Galvantula. So they lunge again. We actually let it go. In this situation, we bring in Gallade to start farming up with energy, and then they bring in a Talonflame. So in this situation here, because we're ahead on shields and energy, and this is going to chip a lot of damage with our Talonflame here, we're going to go with a close combat and most likely switch into Machamp afterwards. So we get the last shield, which is perfect, and then we're going to go with another close combat. And we're going to bring in our Champ here. And I was like, oh man, this sucks because we had to use our last shield. And then they had Umbreon in the bag, and that was a GG's there for that match. So perfect lineup for our team there. Really fun. And then we're going to move on to the next battle. So this is, I think, the last battle here that just got us to Legends, the Gatekeeper here. And let's see what happens. So we have a Dragonite as the lead, a Shadow one. In this situation, I just kind of build up to the Sludge Wave, but really in this situation, I would let go of the Hydro Cannon and switch into Gallade, because this is going to be the harder hitting moves to knock out this Dragonite. So they bring in the Venusaur here, and we're pretty good in this situation even though we're down to shields, and they actually use a shield, which is perfect. And in this case we're going to shield as well too, because this is going to chip away this Venusaur rather quickly, and we're going to let go another Leaf Blade here, and they actually shield, which is perfect. So what we're going to do here is just let go of this Gallade. We have no shields, and then we bring in our Machamp and just go immediately into this Cross Chop, because I think they were just shy, or at least to the move with Frenzy, and we didn't want to be knocked really bad. And then they had a Machamp here. They snuck in this swap, which was very sneaky, and then we bring in our what's it called, our Swampert here, just to force them to throw, and we just survive. And then we throw this Hydro Cannon, and then we win this match just by a mud shot. So GG's there for that match, and we actually made it to Legends, or at least we did. We thought we did. So that was a 4-1. We were 2954 or 2958. Typically, you get about 40 points, so I was banking to see if we get just 2 points more just to reach to Legend. And we'll just wait out here for a second. We had a couple people watching on stream. I think it was about like 10 people or so, if I'm not mistaken. I just jumped right in, and we got to Legends. 3003. We made it. And man, it was fun. It was really fun for this season. We what was it called? Had a really hard hitting drop with, what was it, Remix Cup, where we dropped 350 points, and luckily having Great League open, we went up to what, about 2600, and then with this team that I was using for the past season or two was another up 350 points. Super close to Legends. I was 3 points away. I really want to use the team, but in this situation, like I said, I switched into this team knowing that we can win. What I was making sure is that I just want to have studied the right team comps from what I was facing that evening or that late night, and then I just just switched just to see what worked. So this team worked. It got me to Legend. I'm gonna have another video of this team because I continued this team to climb up a little bit more. I think it was about almost 150-200 points. Was very surprised. Still no EXO Pokemon to hit Legend, and then still no EXO Pokemon just to try to climb to like leaderboard. It'll be my first situation, but without a doubt, fun teams, fun season. And now we can relax and just have a little bit more fun and just play around a little bit. So without a doubt, guys, thanks for watching this video. You can watch me on Twitch again. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are usually my times, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tuesdays and Thursdays and weekends are just bonuses if you guys see me or not. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, see you guys later. Peace.